Jim Neighbors whistles your favorite classical hits from the 1770s, 80s, and 90s. It's a little 18th century humor there. Hey, oh, it's the Weirdos. Greetings, program. So hankering Fernell, your buddy here with another episode of Dungeons and Dragons, how to play D&D like a big old badass. Boop. No, I gotta stop that. Pockabell. What the hell's going on in here? Oh yeah! You're getting your new campaign started, ain't you? Welcome back to Drunkards and Dragons and guys. Welcome back to Drunkards and Dragons, you guys. We are talking about your campaign tonight, not my campaign. Enough talking about my crap. We're gonna talk about your crap. You may have watched the video called 3 Encounters to Start Capital Letters Your Campaign. Oh, fuck yeah, you said. I totally need an encounter to start my campaign. Or maybe you didn't, but you were just like, this is mildly entertaining. Either way, here comes the follow-up video. Follow-up video. Nice. What was I saying? Oh yeah! So if you started your campaign with one of the 3 rooms that was designed in the previous video, from high fantasy, low fantasy, and dark fantasy, then this video is for you. Let's keep working on your campaign. So here is an idea for a room to follow up each of those opening rooms. Okay, now you may have already lurched ahead. You maybe started your campaign and it flew wildly out of control and you're on your 15th room already because you're totally awesome. So you're cooler than me. So just take your cooler than me and get in your Trans Am and ride off with my Dick's Burgers, because that's how it makes me feel. Oh, you can really taste the blood. You can really taste the Viking blood. Alright, so if you ran Prisoners of Molok, you remember that the PCs started as caged victims in some underground labyrinth witnessing some kind of horrific gelatinous cube human sacrifice feeding scene from which they barely escaped through a far door, right? The very next chamber I finally got around to designing in my Saturday ritual, and it is called
The Machines of Molok.
The next room in Molok's underground labyrinth, where the players are going to do a couple of things. 1, they're going to take on some AoE environment hazards head on, and it's going to be awesome. 2, they're going to learn more about why they need to battle Molok, which is really important. Now, I need one little thing over here that Now here's my design right here, and this would be about all I would need for the room if I was dungeon mastering. And this, you may need a little more, you might need a little less, but it's about that much of the page there, about 1/3 of a page. So you've got your room design, which is the key piece, the visual design. That's going to give you how to set up your board. So like tonight, getting ready for the video, I can just pop the board right out. I got my drawing right there, no problem. Then I have my timer, my threat, and my treat. I've got my room DC, and then I've got sort of a synopsis of what can happen. The rest, I'm gonna count on my knowledge of goblin stats and zombies, they're ghoul stats, if you remember from the first adventure, the first room, which, real simple. They have 8 hit points and they do 1d6 damage. That's it. Keep it real clean. And then I'm gonna introduce sort of saving throws and environmental hazards in this room. So we're not just gonna be doing mano y mano, me versus monster kind of stuff. We're gonna get into how rooms can be deadly. Okay, so I've got my notes there. So as you can see by the sign up front, this is a DC 12 room. Now you guys are used to seeing me do crazy shit like DC 19 and 20 for my group, but my group's nutso. It's a large group that's experienced, they're pretty high level, 8th and 9th level, and they're scrappy as hell, so I need to make those rooms hard for them to really have a good time. But your players are brand new, and this is a DC of 12. Now, you probably wanted to make your opening room a DC of 11, and then this is going to feel like a nice little mini notch up, just like when you meet that second goo in the beginning of Dragon Quest. Wow, that got really weird. I mean, is it even goo, or are they called slimes? I think they're called slimes. There's a big slime, and he's like, he has 2 hit points instead of 1. I digress. Okay, the entrance to the room, if you can see properly here, is this door right over here. So this region back here is exactly where Prisoners of Molok took place. They defeated the ghouls, snuck past them, did whatever the hell they had to do to escape, and they come through this door. At the far end of the room on the front, you see this door, which is clearly egress. Now, you guys know my technique. I am all out on the table and very open with my information with my players. If you're a little bit more of a mystery discovery guy or girl, then take these things, which are beyond sight line, which are 2 ghoul guards right here, and the exit door. Take them off your board and keep them in your little DM's drawer for later. So this is all that they get to see, okay? That can make it a fun reveal beyond the thing. It can also give them a fun sensation of like, oh shit, how do we get out of here? But you know me, I'm really out in the open. So I would gladly let my players have some meta knowledge that the exit is right there, because it just adds this directiveness and this target to the room that keeps everything moving, and I really just want to keep everything moving. Either way, do it your way. It's your table, have fun. Boosh, the machines of Molok. Okay, so the entry, when you come in, I have my little tiny piece of text here that will inspire me to describe the room to my players. So the night begins, everybody settles down, they come through this creaky door, there's a torch burning just on the inside of the doorway that illuminates the scene before you. As you enter the following chamber, you realize that whatever black wizard has constructed this terrible lair seems to be manufacturing something with giant, strange machines. At these machines toil half-ghoul goblin creatures who are working levers and buttons feverishly, and every once in a while one of the machines will belt out a cloud of green smoke, and an oozy slapping sound can be heard across the room, where another torch dimly illuminates a slowly sliding gelatinous cube in a break in the wall. That's all they get. Roll initiative. They roll initiative. Okay, we're underway. Timer, threat, treat. What are they, Hanker Infernal, you ask? Good question. Timer, gas bursts. These machines give off massive poofs of toxic gas. So every timer, they are going to poof, and they're going to fill a lot of this room. All right, it's going to be crazy. So the players need to see it coming and take refuge. The threat, obviously, we have ghouls. We have a ghoul here working with these supplies. We have 2 ghoul operators who are sort of short, stunted, goblin-y ones. 3, here's another operator. And they are currently, don't notice that the players just entered the room, and they are pulling levers. They look kind of scared, actually. They're like, can barely manage these damn machines. Finally, the treat. The treat is right here. And this is crazy. So this is not my finest prop, but I think it does the job. There's a puddle of goo in the corner of this room, and this goo is no ordinary goo, and it can be used to great effect by creative players. But the treat in this room is not that easy to really utilize. There is some lumber laying over here and a supply cart, as you can see, DC 12. And sometimes, creative players can really get a lot of use out of carts. And maybe find an extra weapon or piece of armor or even a healing potion inside these supplies. Other than that, not much treat in here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so how's it going to play out? It's time to get into storyteller mode, okay? What's going to happen? Well, players see ghouls and tend to want to fight. But they're going to run perception checks. What are these freaking crazy machines? Well, you realize that if you operate it this, that, and the other way, you pull on this lever and that lever, it prevents it from bursting in gas. But if you miss a button or don't see that a dial just went to the top, it's going to burst with gas. Okay? So, we're going to retrieve a 1d4 here. Here's my timer. So as they come in, the DM rolls, that's you, rolls the timer. Whoop, give me a 1. Come on, give me a 1. I got a 2. So there's my 2. I hate these ones that have the number on the bottom. It's not nearly as cool as the number on the top tip. Okay, so I have a 2 on my timer. There it is for all to see. Oh God, what's gonna happen in 2 rounds? Okay, so we've got Helm comes in, he does some perception checks. Maybe he's getting ready to sneak up on this guy working with these supplies. Maybe they think they can hide behind the wagon as they kill this guy, so Zymer moves into position. But Zymer notices that this puddle is very strange. He rolls perception. All he has to do is beat a 12, right? Anybody can beat a 12 on a perception check. He does beat it. In fact, this puddle is a substance which is remarkably close to the substance that makes up a gelatinous cube. It's even, as you reach toward it, it's slightly intelligent. It responds, it wants to reach out. But as Zymer sits over there and pokes it with a stick and is examining it, he realizes that this goo lacks its digestive acidic component. This is raw gelatinous cube goo before it's been refined into the voracious, aggressive, man-devouring, armor-dissolving abomination we all know and hate from dungeon corridors. So, being an awesome wizard, he harvests a little bit of the goo in a vial and stuffs it in his cloak for later, which we will talk about. Okay, so the second turn comes around. These guys are going to get some perception checks. He notices, oh God, someone's sneaking up on me. Ah! These guys are too busy with the machines to notice. They continue their work. This battle is joined. This guy is probably going to be easily dispatched. He's dead. They manage to execute successfully the hide strategy. They search. Maybe they find an extra helmet, some leather armor. Maybe there's a scroll tube in there, depending if you want to run your treasure tables, if you just make it up, if you have it written in your book, whatever. It's going to be great. So they get a little bit of something, something. Nothing great, but a little something, something. And then they're like, well, you know, beating that guy, that was pretty easy. We could probably take these guys. So they're like, and for a moment they forgot. I've just clicked down to 1 round. They're not paying attention. They run out. Fight me, you abominations. No one keeps us prisoner. Ah, we hate you. We hate you too. But this one's like, wait a minute, we can't leave our posts. And he continues pulling on the levers. But these two are too enraged, they forget their work. A few blows are exchanged. Ching, ching, ching. Ah. Right, one of them is killed. But then my timer runs out. Boop. And without tending the machine, this machine belches out a massive burst of terrible green gas, which comes in the form of this crazy Spanish lichen moss stuff. If you have some green cotton, Jesus, that would be a lot more effective. Okay, so now to be fair, so that I don't seem like a troll, I'm going to use my 1d4 to pick which direction this burst of gas comes out, right? And I always start here and count. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Like that. And I get a 3. Oh, perfect roll for the PCs. So the cloud goes like that. No one's in that big old cloud. Then the machine resets, starts going again. As this happens, whoa, it comes back to the player's turn. Zymer realizes, I need to inspect this machine. Oh wait, I need to inspect this machine because I'm old. So he looks at the machine. He realizes, oh man, without anybody working these machines, it's just going to keep giving off gas. DM says, indeed, you're right. Which this wasn't my plan, but he makes a good point. With no attendee, half my timer. I roll a 3, so we'll round in their favor, so I'm back to a 2 again. See, I never planned that mechanic, but that's a good idea. The player had the idea, I just ran with it. And in this case, I'm both people, but let's look past how bizarre that is. So Zymer is right here. Ooh, focus beam. Zymer's right there. Boop, 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 investigating the machine. Meanwhile, the battle is still joined. Clang, 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 clang. Oh, Helm, you're such a good fighter. You killed another 8 hit point ghoul. Man, you're cool. You've only taken 3 damage. Yeah, whatever. That's a quarter of my hit points. Okay, cool. Onward. Notice they haven't rested from the previous room yet either. So they take their turns. Hey, you bugger, I'm going to kill you. Oh, wait, I didn't think about the fact, though, that if I kill you, no one will be tending the machine. Ching, 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 ching. Oh, he blocks it. Crap. Zymer goes over, maybe I can deactivate this machine. On closer inspection, he notices that some of the goo is squeezing out some valves and little joints in the machine here. Which is better? So he realizes these machines are doing something with this goo from the corner. Whoa, what could it be? Oh, wait a minute. This sounds horrible. I remember the introduction. The wizard is manufacturing something. No, he wouldn't. Zymer comes up. My timer clicks down. The ghoul takes his attack. Does Helm some more damage? Oh God, I just took 2 more damage. This is getting freaky. And he is not tending his machine. Helm dispatches him. Next turn, Zymer comes up with another perception check. Notices this gelatinous cube, and this is just simple terrain here, but this wall is a tube, and this gelatinous cube is moving from one side of the tube to the other, and just visible inside the opening here is another gelatinous cube, and they're moving through. They're manufacturing these things. Dun dun dun. Timer runs out. Boop. My go. Both machines are untended and explode with gas. Which direction? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't do it in the same place twice. I get a 1 right onto the boys. Oh, crap. Let's get some more of this ridiculous moss going. It goes right onto them. And then I need to look at my notes. Let's see. How does this gas work? Okay, we get a blast of green gas. It is a constitution save or take 1d8 damage on the first inhale. So Zymer succeeds, Helm misses the save, which is crazy because he has a high constitution, takes 2 more damage. He's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. On the second save, it's only gonna do 1d6 damage. So it's like a slowly decreasing pain from this gas. But that was only one of the machines. This machine then goes off. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, they get lucky on that one. And we get a cloud back here on the supply. So there's almost no going back. Look at this. The whole room is just filled with this horrible green gas. But the only way to go forward is through the gelatinous cube. Oh my God. Okay, the machines are still running. So I roll again. Ooh, this time I get a 4. But there's no attendees, so it's cut in half. Holy shit, they have 2 rounds to get out of this room before it completely fills with gas. Shit! So Zymer goes up. He's like, screw it, there's no time. Fireball. Boosh. I don't have fireball. I'm like level 1. Well, magic missile. Pew, pew, pew. He does a little bit of damage to the cube. It's negligible. Helm comes up. We got to jump through the gap. There's no way we're going to beat that gelatinous cube. So he just goes for it. Screw it. It's a DC 12 room. I can make a 12 dex check. So he jumps through this little gap. Watcha! Incurring an attack of opportunity from the cube. And the cube will definitely take that attack using pseudopod. It's not going to do engulf because I'm not a troll. So the pseudopod whips out. It misses. Helm. Heimer is a combination of Zymer and Helm. Whatever. Helm makes it through. He makes the jump. The cube misses him. And then at that moment he realizes, oh crap, there's 2 ghoul guards on this side of the cube. Zymer, you got to get in here, dude. It's not Zymer's turn yet. So we count down 1. The ghouls attack. Cha-cha, cha-cha. Oh God, Helm's down to 1 hit point. Zymer, dude, you gotta jump through the gap. The next round, the gas is gonna fill. You're like, okay, cool. Ah. He goes for it, makes the dex check. The attack of opportunity misses because for the sake of holy shit, if it hits, Zymer might drop right there and Helm's gonna need to save the freaking day. Okay? But it's totally possible. They had a heal pot. So Zymer gets down to 1 hit point. Helm's to 1 hit point. He gives the heal pot to the tank because he's totally awesome. Helm takes the heal pot, manages to dispatch these 2 ghouls. The cubes, meanwhile, are languidly, slowly passing by. The machines let off their gas again, and they flee to the exit. And there you go. That is the Machines of Molok. Now you can make this room as short or long as you need to fit the playstyle of your table. So if you wanted it to be a bigger, more involved room that takes more rounds, then you can do more enemies in here. The enemies will basically slow movement. You can make it harder to jump through this gap. There's a lot of adjustments you can make to the room. You can make this higher. That can slow the progress down a little bit. But there you go. That's the Machines of Molok. So it's not like this towering achievement of board craft, but you get a really fun room because it's just like football. It's like we just gotta go for the end zone, and then there's a bunch of crazy stuff in the meantime. Here's the best part. As they reach the doorway and there's a moment's peace there, a strange quiet as the gas fills the room and the machines continue to vibrate wildly because there's no one to manage them now. Like, this is gonna get really bad. Zymer takes a second to look at his little vial of goo. On closer inspection, he looks at the goo and it has congealed into a tiny little cube. And the cube is moving toward the side of the bottle, toward him. So being awesome, he kind of puts his finger in there. The cube crawls up on his finger. It's about the size of an ice cube. And there's no acidic or dissolving component to it. It's just a friendly little gelatinous cube. What is the use that you could think of as a player for an ally that is a miniature gelatinous cube about this big? So it can move very slowly, but it likes you. It would have a pseudopod attack. It would have engulf and suffocate, but it wouldn't have the acidic component that a full-grown aggressive gelatinous cube has. Is it going to grow? Is it going to get bigger? Is it going to develop a personality? Is he going to use it sort of as a familiar? Who knows what's going to happen? Is he going to throw it in the fire because it's an abomination? Who knows? But this is a treat. This links the players to the story of Molok. Molok is a wizard who is manufacturing the terrors of the Underdark. To keep the Underdark, to keep the adventurers out, to keep civilization out, to keep it as the freedom realm of evil. Freedom realm of evil? The free realm of evil. God. So you can see how your game is going to progress. If you're doing the Prisoners of Molok campaign, this tone is what you want in almost every room. You want to continually unveil why Molok is their target, why they're working slowly toward him through all this hellscape. Ready to run the Machines of Molok to follow up the prisoner escape at the beginning of your campaign. And now here's a few tips about how I built the encounter and got it ready to run if I was running the campaign. So I have my map, my room design, and then directly across from it, I just have a little section called The Whole Truth. And you guys know how I feel about The Whole Truth. The Whole Truth is your secret set of notes so that if players are asking you difficult or detailed questions, you have a pretty good sense of what's going on. Okay? Also in The Whole Truth, I keep track of hit points on my ghouls, the different kinds of damage that the clouds can do, and some little mechanical notes. I actually have here that operators carry these wrenches that they can whack with that do more damage. So if you can knock the wrench out of their hand, they just go back to their kind of unarmed combat. Then, you know, the decks move to jump between the cubes as they're sliding past on the conveyor belt sort of thing. And it's actually a little bit more difficult, so you can run it with disadvantage because the gap is so narrow. And then I have my little piece of flavor text, which I'll tell you what I wrote. It says, Molok harvest mortuary gelatinous sludge to create cubes for a war on the elves in the Underdark. Double pseudopods for any newly formed cubes because they're hungry. So these are newly formed cubes. So a double pseudopod would be if you make that jump, it can get 2 attacks of opportunity. Now if your players are barely surviving the gas and the operators and the ghouls, don't do the double pseudopods. That's if you have a lot of players, like 5, and they're coming through, they're helping each other, and you're gonna have to make this room harder. You're gonna have to buff it as they come through, right? And if you want, you can straight up tell them, like, whoa, man, I'm gonna buff my guy a little bit. It's cool. I didn't even write down what the supplies would be in the cart. I would probably just, how would you do that on the fly? That's a great question. Really quick, I would want everyone to see what I was gonna do it. Or I would just tell them. I would say 1, arms and armor, 2, a vial of something, 3, food, 4, supplies, right? And then you roll, I got a 3, so that is, what was 3? Food. So they find some ghoul food in there, which is maggot-y stinking bread. 2 more of these, which are follow-ons for the other genres that I proposed to start your campaign, but those are gonna be different videos because it is Monday night and I have got more mead to drink, and I'm sure there's something really important that I'm not doing right now that I should be doing. Anyway, that's it. That's the Machines of Moloch. I hope you guys had fun. That's a fun room. I think that would be really awesome. If you can do better crafting than this and make some cool looking machines, that would add to the fun. Don't forget your puddle, and you know, light up torches always add a good time for everybody. That's about it. So stay tuned. Next video up is going to be the Vault of Duke Harold, which is the follow-up to A Burning in New Haven, which is the dark fantasy adventure. So we're going to do that room next. It's going to be awesome. A nice simple room, because remember, you're starting your campaign and you're not getting into a bunch of crazy stuff. You're just getting the feel for your group and the feel for how you like to DM. So keep it real, don't steal, and you'll get a deal. All right, strength, honor, and the blood of the Viking. You can really taste the blood. Why? Why would you do something like that on camera? We are sitting on the field of battle, enjoying a few well-made